Foie gras is a really classical French recipe, the fatty liver of a goose or a duck, but it can be modernized and made somewhat better when you use the sous vide method. And I'll show you here how to do it. Salt, pepper, sugar and some alcohol, that's what you use in a classic foie gras terrine. I buy my vacuum bags for sous vide in a roll. I cut them over and then I have to melt them together to turn them into bags, and then they look like this and they're ready. The hardest part about working with a foie gras or a liver like this is that it consists of two pieces and they are connected with sinews and blood vessels and all kinds of stuff, and you have to remove that and you have to do it very carefully, otherwise you end up tearing it completely to pieces. What you have to do is find out where the sinews and blood vessels they start, and then you follow them with your fingers. You have to feel your way into the liver and you pull gently so they don't break, but you pull them out, and then you keep going until the end, and the liver will break somewhat. You can't avoid that, but be careful to do it as little as possible. And it is this kind of dentifloss that you have to pull out. And that was the small half of the liver, and then I do the same with the larger half. And again, as careful as possible. And of course, this is easy for me because I have these nice little girly fingers, small hands, but some might otherwise find it difficult. And if you really find it difficult, you can use a knife or the handle of a teaspoon or something like that. Something that's long and pointed. And when we reach this stage, it does look a bit mushed up, but it is not as bad as it looks. And you can use a knife, as I said. Then I put the two pieces up against each other, add half of the alcohol, add the pepper, add the sugar and the salt at once. I've mixed it before doing this. Put it together into a lump, collect it, and I fold over the outer edge of my sous vide bag to avoid it becoming dirty. That makes it harder to weld together. Add all of the pieces. It's all good. Add the alcohol, the last half of the salt and sugar, and I add the pepper too, even though I forget to show it. So I fold out the edges again and seal it up in my vacuum sealer and suck out all the air. Often when the vacuum machine sucks out the air, it also sucks out a little bit of liquid. Then you risk it not being completely sealed, so I always double seal my bags. And the final result is this nice little sealed package of foie gras ready to put in some hot water. It's important to make sure that it's completely covered in the warm water and absolutely submerged. A little half hour later, it's done. And it's pretty amazing how much fat is melted off. But there's still less fat melted off than when you do it the regular way without sous vide. Next thing, it has to go into the fridge. I fold it over so it forms a nice shapely little package. Also, it collects the fat around the liver. And now it's ready to eat. The cooling down period makes it tighten up really well and becomes very firm and nice to cut. Don't press as much as I do here. You have to cut it. The traditional way is to slice it into about quarter-inch, half-inch slices and then serve it on toast. Or but what do I care? You can eat it with chopsticks if you want to, but that's pretty unusual. This is the traditional way to do it. Some sweet and some sour. This is fig, marmalade, and pickles. So enjoy. And you can find the list of ingredients and the recipe on kvalifood.